Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Edmund Ironside and we get to hear from Edricus today in Act 5, Scene 2. So at the start of this scene, Canutus was reading a letter from Edricus where Edricus was like, I think Edmund might be starting to get a little bit suspicious, so I have to hang out with him a little bit longer until I can come back to you. But you are my most worthy lord. And that made Canutus nervous. Because if Edmund knows that Edricus has been playing both sides, then things aren't so great. But Canutus was putting on the strong, happy, excited, we're going to win the war face for all of the people around him. Meanwhile, Edmund is coming with his army and they sound the drums and all of that, and Canutus is like, he must be ready to surrender to me. And Edmund shows up and he's like, this is my land that you're on, so get off of it. And Canutus is like, no, actually this is my land, I won it. And Edmund is like, in what world is that possibly true? I'm the king, this land is mine, I am better than you. End of story. And the two of them have some back and forth a little bit until Edmund draws his sword and Canutus draws his sword. And it looks like the two of them are going to start fighting with their armies again right now. But Edricus has this little aside. It's almost like we need to have a commentary on what's going on here. So honestly, I'm not exactly sure how you would stage this. How do you keep that like seething, we're about to slaughter each other energy while you just come over here and spend some time with Edricus? But we're going to come over here and spend some time with Edricus anyway, and I will leave it up to you when you direct this piece to figure out how to stage this bit. But anyway, Edricus says, mostly to himself, Edmund is strong, Canutus is weak, in part. Edmund gracious in the people's eyes, Canutus is not so. What had I best to do? Fain would I have Canutus win, and he is weak. I would have Edmund lose, and he is strong. Oh, gracious stars! Inspire my nimble wit with some device, and as I ever have, I will employ it to some villainy. Soft, let me see. Oh, it is excellent! Fountain of wit, the spring of policy, the flower of treason and of villainy. How much undecent it is that this cap, this homely cape, should overload this crow when thou deservest a crown of beaten gold. But to the matter, so it needs must fadge, for I can bring them to a single fight. Whosoever hath the better, yet shall I be gracious in his eye, as who should say, I was the causer of his victory. Besides, I shall insinuate myself into the bosom of opinion, and be esteemed my country's buckler. Well, all about it, meaning no man good, but that my speech may shed King Edmund's blood. Renowned Edmund, first I speak to thee, let these my words proceeding from true zeal beg at thy ears a little audience. And worthy Canutus, sheathe up thy slaughtering sword till I have spoke my mind, that all may see my words proceed from perfect piety. So the majority of that was him talking to himself, but then there's some stage business and then he talks to everybody else. But what he's saying is, if I leave this up to these armies, Edmund is going to win because Edmund is stronger, Canutus is weaker. Edmund is liked by the people, Canutus is not, but he wants it to go the other way. He wants Edmund to lose and he wants Canutus to win. So he's like, okay, I got to think of something. And he comes up with this idea that the two of them have to just fight each other. Without their armies, he wants the two of them to like face each other in single combat, because then one of them is going to kill the other, and whatever one survives is going to be like, that was a great idea, Edricus, you gave me an opportunity to slay my enemy, so huzzah. And then all of the people will also think that Edricus is so smart and wonderful for figuring this whole thing out, and he's like, I'm gonna go talk to them, and really I just hope in this whole thing, I just hope that Edmund dies. So then we switch back, like if this was a sort of freeze moment over here while the tension of the two that are going to fight, the two armies that are going to fight each other was happening, there is, after Edricus says, I just want to spill King Edmund's blood. There's a stage direction says like the armies start to move towards each other, like they're creeping in as if they're going to start to attack. And Edricus literally stands in between the two. And he's like, Edmund, please listen to me for just a second, my most worthy king. And Canutus, my other most worthy king, please listen and know that what I have to say now comes from a pure, good place. And both kings actually agree to listen. He's like, okay, say what you have to say. And he's like, okay, say what you have to say. And then I think it's Alfric is like, yeah, when the fox starts telling people what to do, the goose should beware. Because a lot of people still don't trust Edricus. But that aside, Edricus is going to share his plan with the two kings in tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then for that. Mwah.